Hey everyone, welcome to the Sunburnt Podcast. My name's Thomas O'Brien, and this is my co-host, the most ticklish comedian in the country, Chip Chantry.
I'm laughing just thinking about that, Thomas. I am a ticklish boy.
Chip, can you feel this, Chip? Can you feel this, Chip?
I'm feeling those magic fingers right now, Thomas. I am feeling those. That's how I introduce myself to people. I just say, whether it's in a social setting, like at a party, or even just at the supermarket, I'll just walk up to a stranger and say, "Hi, I'm Chip. I'm very ticklish." And then I take a half a step towards them.
And it's not weird at all.
No, it never goes over well.
All right, well, this is the Sunburnt Podcast. We love comedy, and we also love tropical vacations. If those things speak to you, stick around.
And if they don't, get out now. Front desk.
Hey, this is Thomas O'Brien in room 316, and I would like to request a couple more towels, please.
Sure, we can get those right up to you. Is everything okay in the room?
Yeah, and I just want to put this out there up front. I wasn't having like a Diddy party or anything, so just bring up the towels will be good.
I think I might have to transfer you to my manager.
I would love to talk to Greg again. Chip, we're back in it. This is episode 3, and I truly can't believe the response we're getting. Like, the numbers are absolutely insane for something that seems as just silly as what we're doing.
My wife and I have had to go into hiding recently. I mean, that's how
Wow.
uproarious it's been, and it hasn't been great. It's been life-shattering, and I'm thinking of pulling the plug on the entire thing. But hey, that's what fame does to you, Thomas. That's what fame does to a man.
And that has nothing to do with the warrants, right?
Next question, Thomas. Let's move on to the next topic.
All right, perfect, Chip. If you had to name 2 things that you love, what would they be?
Not getting served warrants and staying in my basement. No, my favorite 2 things, comedy and the good old tropical islands. And that's what we're talking about here, Thomas.
That's what we're talking about, and we're looking for people like us that love those things. I can't really explain how or why so many people are checking out the videos and the audio, but they are. And I think at this point we just need to be very clear that this is not for everybody. This is like for people who like literally. These are the 2 things I could talk about all day, every day.
Right.
It's if somebody wants to talk to me about like, oh, I don't know, Kauai, or I don't know, season 1 of the Chappelle Show, I've got all day for you, even if I have other things to do. And I knew I had a kindred spirit in you, Chip, when we met. We have very similar feelings about those things. It's just like an obsession that I don't even have to work on. But when we wanted to do something together, we were just like, let's put those 2 things together. Let's make this happen. And if those speak to you, if that's who you are, then subscribe, do all the other stuff. If not, don't, because I think you'll mess up the algorithm and we'll stop growing like we are. And we're having a really good time with it.
As Gloria Stefan said, the algorithm going to get you.
Yeah, she was very ahead of her time.
She really was. Yeah. How was your week, buddy? I feel like we haven't talked. It was the weekend happened. I was out of town for a little bit.
Yeah.
You were doing your thing. What's going on?
Well, I was doing my thing. I mean, the big news in my life is it's so surreal to me, and I really can't explain exactly how it feels. But my daughter is turning 1 this weekend.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Like, it seems, this is crazy. It seems like just last year she was born. Do you know what I mean?
I can see how you'd feel that way, especially, being a little bit removed.
Mm-hmm.
But no, she's been here for a year. I've been a dad for almost a year. And to celebrate that, we decided to have a party bigger than our wedding. To celebrate her being around for a year. It's
by the way, beautiful wedding you had.
Absolutely.
How many people were there? I can't remember exactly.
I'll tell you exactly. 40 people.
Was it 40 people? Is that
40
what it was?
people. It was a delightful, tasteful, small COVID wedding. Not exactly what we had planned, but we pared it down. And the Honorable Reverend Chip Chantry presided
this guy right here.
over the whole event.
I was your ordained minister, and it was the best time. Not exactly tropical, but for me tropical. It was on the coast of San Diego, which was just. I had never been to San Diego before. It was beautiful, just overlooking the ocean. What a great! And then just the whole weekend I was there was at is it Torrey Pines? Is that what it was called?
Torrey Pines, baby.
Torrey Pines. I'm not a golfer, but the famed golf course right on the ocean, and then climbing those cliffs and that hiking path there by the ocean was, I'm gonna say life-changing, Thomas. Life-changing.
Yeah, I forget what they call the climate. I think it's like mild tropical or like semi-tropical. I think that's how they sold like Southern California to people that were trying to get to move here, and got all the palm trees going. And it's true. It's for my money, it's the closest you're gonna get here on the mainland.
So, as beautiful as that wedding was, you're going bigger and badder for your daughter's Uno.
We're definitely going bigger, so much badder. No, it's going to be nice. We're just, we are sparing all of our friends that don't have kids because we were a little later to the kid party and got invited to quite a few of those. And while we, felt very honored to be invited and all that stuff, like it was just undeniable. We'd leave every single one of those things being like, it felt a little weird to be there.
Right.
Yeah. It's just like at a certain
point, it's like
point,
every single time I'm asked to leave the park.
Yeah. I mean, you walk home,
and
with
I don't
your
even
tail
get any
between
cake.
your legs.
There's no cake. There's no hot dogs.
That's true.
It's just a crowd of people physically removing me from a swing set.
Yeah, no, going to those parties felt slightly better than being, essentially accused of being a potential predator.
Sure.
By your community members.
Yeah.
So,
but that is, I do love your foresight of, and because again, like you said, you were there. It's like, this is who this party is for. And here's who it's not for, and we want everybody here to have a good time. So we're gonna spare you. I do appreciate that.
Yeah, and it's like it's sparing, but also it's just like it's a celebration for the baby. Of course, she made it another year, but like it really is kind of like me and Alex, we did this thing that we're very proud of, and it was not the easiest thing, but it was super. I don't know. It was incredible. So we will find a way to celebrate ourselves with some of our, friends that might not be in that stage of life at the moment too.
Right.
But yeah, no. So we're just preparing to have a bunch of people, a bunch of babies, dude. You've never seen so many babies that are going to be rolling over here. Yeah, we are dealing with the catering and the music and the guest lists and family coming in from out of town. So that's been a whole thing on top of everything else. But we're excited about it, and it's also coincided. You hear about this every year. It's spider season's kicking off, buddy. My sworn enemies, the
Is that a real thing?
eight-leggeds.
You had mentioned spiders last episode, and it was sort of a blip. But is that a real thing in LA?
Oh, I mean, I don't. It's not in larger LA, but like where I live in LA, there's like you've been to this area before.
Sure.
It's like it's so close to everything else, but it's just a little different. Like for example, yesterday I saw a coyote a block away from my house just running in the street. Like that doesn't happen a lot of other places, to my knowledge.
By the way, did you know I've seen coyotes at very select few times, all in California, all in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I was there during some of the fires, during the Malibu fires of 2018. Yep. So those fires were coming in, so obviously that sends the animals into the neighborhoods. And I still remember walking to work from the bus because, hey, that's how I rolled when I was and you know how I would always get to the office early, and I was just walking down that sidewalk because it was basically a residential neighborhood and then our offices. And for the first time ever, I just see a coyote just walking parallel on the sidewalk across the street from me. And it's so funny because like, how you hear these stories of these mystical things where you see an animal out in nature and it's sort of like your soulmate or like this is my spirit animal and like
a real connection. You have a real connection to those
I'm
things.
flying like this eagle. This was just a coyote nervously walking down a sidewalk trying not to make eye contact with human beings. And I was like, I have found my kindred spirit. That coyote possesses my soul.
That really describes you moving down Ventura Boulevard.
Yeah, exactly. And then I saw a couple in Griffith Park. My wife and I went for a hike one day in Griffith Park. It was getting towards dusk, and a bunch of coyotes came out. And, of course, my wife, her gut instinct is to try to go pet the coyotes. And I'm like, we're not petting coyotes. This is not something that we do, but she is somebody who, like, she is one of the smartest, most intelligent people I know. And the amount of times I said, please don't go feed the raccoon to this woman it's double digits that I have to warn her off against rabies. So, yeah. But,
oh, man.
So now, okay, at this party you're having, are you grilling it up?
No. We're bringing in professionals.
Okay.
We're trying not to do anything too stressful. We want it to be relaxed. It's a 2 hours in the morning hitter.
Okay.
And yeah, we'll be done. We'll be done by lunchtime. And,
is there like a character coming? Like a, God, I hope not a clown, but maybe like a like a princess or somebody dressed like, I don't know, like Mr. Belvedere, or just like something fun?
No, we don't have any characters coming. She's a little young for that. Like,
she's one. Yeah.
I already know that she's going to, and we just know it. It's like she's going to be scared of grandparents. She's going to be scared of friends. Like, she just has recently developed stranger danger.
Okay.
So like, I don't think that would be a good idea. But I will tell you that there was a big veto. A big veto came up.
Really?
From me and my wife. It's maybe the first actual fight we've ever had. So, are you familiar with bounce houses, Chip?
Oh, God, yeah. Absolutely.
So, I may have went and bought a big old bounce house. Did I rent it? No. I bought it.
You play for keeps, buddy.
I play for keeps, and it also, like, pretty pointedly was not a bounce house like geared towards young children.
Okay.
It's geared towards basketball fans and fans of extreme sports, because it had a little trampoline in the center and a basketball hoop like 12 feet up in the corner.
Oh my God.
When I tell you this thing is sick, it was really sick. It was really fun. I had fun bouncing around on it, and my wife came out and saw it in the yard, and she was just like,
and she's unaware that you purchased any of this. Like,
she'd heard about it, and it was like, oh, we'll see. But I finally got around to setting it up in the backyard, and boy, did I underestimate how much I'd enjoy having a bounce house. My daughter wouldn't care at all. But there's going to be kids that are a little bit older.
Sure.
I was like, maybe it'd be good for them. At the end of the day, my wife's like, how do you keep this safe? Do we want a bunch of 3 and 4-year-olds trying to jump off a trampoline in a bounce house?
Right.
Where would we set it up? There was a lot of valid questions. And at the end of the day, like when she said no, there was like, I didn't really have an argument against it. Like there was nothing other than I was just like, yeah, but like you don't understand how sick I'm feeling in the house. I'm like, come in the house, feel what it feels like.
Right. Please enter my world. Right.
Yeah. Step into it. Get the vinyl beneath your feet before you have an opinion about it. But she said no, because she's like, I'm shocked at staying up with you in there. I think you pack another adult in there, then I'm going to hurt myself. And I don't want the kids to get hurt. You don't know what you're doing. We don't have insurance for this. And I was just like, all right. But the joke's on her, because in order to take it back, I need to be able to fit it back into the bag.
And that's not happening.
That's never, or the box, that's never happening again.
No. That's the whole point. Yeah.
It came shrink wrapped, like one of those mattresses that, comes in an envelope, and you open it up and let it breathe for a couple of hours, and it turns into a king-size bed.
Yes.
It had that kind of vibe, that kind of wrap going on. And when I tried to put it in there, it was a no-go, buddy.
No, that's not. Yeah, you're playing for keeps with that one.
So we own a bounce house now, is what I'm saying. Come on over, Chip.
I can't wait to come over and try this trampoline out. Now, here's the thing.
Yeah.
And again, a couple of white guys on a podcast, but I don't want to delve into these waters too much, but I will make this complaint about I'm married, you're married.
Yep.
About women, about wives. We're just trying to have a good time. And these women are always coming at us with these valid questions and legitimate concerns. And overall questions about safety and well-being. I mean, why do they always have to hit us with that? With legitimate concerns and valid questions. Why do women always got to be doing that? Ruining our good time.
I don't know. And also, like, to boot, it's like
looking out for our personal safety and the safety of children. Just out of nowhere. Oh, look at me. What if we don't have insurance for this? Somebody might die.
Yeah, it's almost like it's built right into them to keep things alive. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Just ruining the good time with safety and welfare. And that's
and also, like, not cheap. Like not. I mean, not. I get it. I get it. Not.
Oh.
It's like you want to spend a ton of money to endanger everybody, mess up the layout I had for the event that's in 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
And an inflatable structure that will take up a good percentage of the party space.
Yeah, but also, like, you know, I think somehow if it's there, I can use it as a tax write-off for like a work area, a business area of the party.
Sure.
Get a little money back from Uncle Sam. You know what I mean?
Hey, you get some Santa Ana wins. That thing blows away mid-party.
Yeah.
We get a little publicity. That's a write-off right there.
We get a little publicity, and, you know, I get to relive what I've never seen it, but I think isn't that the premise of the movie Up?
It 100% is. Yep.
It's a house floating through the sky.
That's why the movie's called Up, not just, hey, right there. That's the most boring story. Yeah.
And it's a guy that's happily married with a baby in a house.
Yes. What I'm saying is if it wasn't for your wife and my wife, you and I would probably both be deceased at this point.
We'd both be deceased, or I'll tell you where we'd be today specifically. We'd be trying to figure out how to attach an outboard motor to a bounce house, and we'd be heading to Catalina right now, my man.
Yes, we would. Just sailing out there on a I think that's our next I think we do a Patreon from our voyage to Catalina on an inflatable rock climbing mountain. I say we do it.
Yeah. I mean, it's the new faces of death.
Mm-hmm.
It is, you know,
just
the internet
it's just
reborn.
these two faces right here.
Yeah, these two faces of death. But yeah, dude, that's what I got going on. Mm-hmm. It's in the middle of spider season.
So that is a scary. So I guess you just, and by the way, spider season and bounce houses, like that's the first thing you have to worry about. Like you come out to a bounce house, not that you're going to keep it up overnight, but like you inflate that overnight. The first thing you have to do is spray out for spiders. That's numero uno.
It's numero uno. And like, honestly, part of the reason I felt bold and excited to be in the bounce house was it's the only thing that hasn't been out there long enough to get infested.
Right.
So
that
it's
is
like,
true.
And when I say infest, it's not like the yard's not infested, but the spiders are starting to come back.
Sure.
And especially the woman that helps us out with the baby, deathly scared of spiders. And the Ring camera videos we have of this woman walking up to the door and spotting one and screaming, it makes me feel so bad for her. But it's just like, it's funny because I can relate.
Speaking of the Patreon, that's an element right there. Just hours of Ring footage of the woman who takes care of your firstborn.
Yes.
Just a jackass reel of her afraid of spiders. I mean, I think is there anything more entertaining? I mean, I think we've just conquered the internet.
Oh, that's better than this. That's better than this by a long shot for the average person.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of animals or arachnids, some people might see. I don't know if they see him or not, but my little bundle of joy is right here behind us, so you might be able to see him in the dark. But Franklin is right behind me. So if you see anything move behind me, that is not just a giant spider or anything like that. It is my dog Franklin is behind me.
And he's getting a full producer rate. You still think that's fair?
I mean, he is pulling his weight. So yes, he is.
Okay.
So what's can I ask what the cuisine is like for I'm sure there's a little bit of a different thing for the kids versus the parents, but what are we what are we going to be eating at the big fiesta?
Yeah, so it's a layered event, man. You gotta think about a lot of different groups, and it is Los Angeles. There's a lot of different eating styles. We're trying to take everything into consideration, but It's going to be catering from Home State. It's like a Tex-Mex place that makes these amazing breakfast tacos.
Mm-hmm.
So we tried to order them old school, just like call, and they're like, no, you need to go through our catering department. That's way too many tacos. We need to order extra ingredients, blah, blah, blah. So we got that order in. We're going there. And then we're hitting up a bagel station. We're going to have a bagel station for those who aren't feeling.
Just a station of bagels.
It's a station of bagels. That's like a fancy, maybe that's a little fancier than what we got going on there. It's like,
so there's a guy preparing bagels, like smearing stuff on for you? Is that?
No. People are going to be doing it themselves.
DIY bagels? All right.
Yeah, DIY bagels.
All right. This podcast hits big. You're getting a bagel chef next year for
a bagel man?
A bagelman for the for the Deuce for the big second birthday party. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
just a bagelman in a bounce house. That's what it is.
What I know about 2-year-olds is like they are bagel heads. They're obsessed with them. They love the fact I can see Hi, Franklin. Really looks good in that light, Franklin.
He does.
Yeah. So we got some bagels going, and then there's gonna be like some for the kids. There's just like there's fruit, there's pouches that all the kids eat, and then we're.
That's right, because most of the kids are astronauts.
Yes, it's freeze dried ice cream,
right?
Which is a little sugary, but not compared to the cupcakes. We got grown up size cupcakes, mini cupcakes. There's a cupcake for any volume you're looking to take care of business with.
I'm so excited, and I really appreciate the fact that you're doing a morning party. You're like, come on in.
Oh yeah,
hit it and quit it. That's the way to go. I think people don't. Here's the thing. We're talking about vacations. We're talking about tropical locations.
Yeah.
I'm a morning party guy. Why not? I hate, especially anymore, but like I was never a late night guy.
Yeah.
And like I was forced to be, like in college, that was like our parties in college didn't start till 10 p.m. And I'm like, guys, why? Why is this?
Yeah.
Why are we waiting so late? Like we could start this at 4 p.m. So I just, a morning party is just, and then you go home, you take a siesta, and then you have the rest of the evening to take care of those important things like watching Netflix. See, I'm 100% on board with this.
Oh, I love it. And also like, bring it back to travel. Like, that a lot of times that's the best part of the day when you're out there. It's like you wake up in a place where the weather is so much better than you used to waking up in, and you go get a wonderful coffee and then have like a leisurely brunch with like maybe some food you haven't tried before, like a cuisine you're not familiar with.
Yep.
That is some of the best times possible. And especially on this trip we're taking, we're going all the way to Hawaii, baby.
Yeah, we are.
Chip Chantry performing at the Blue Note.
November 26th, the night before Thanksgiving. Book your tickets. You are coming to Hawaii with us. We already have a bunch of people that are coming out for the week, not just to see me, because that feels weird, but that's going to be part of it. You're going to see me perform at the Blue Note, but we are going to be hanging out all week, Thanksgiving week, in Hawaii. This is a real thing, and we want you to join us. And you're like, what? I can't do that. Yes, you can. You're going to come with us. We're going to have a great time, and your life is going to be changed. My life is going to be changed. It might be your first time in Hawaii. It's going to be my first time in Hawaii. Tommy's been there, but this is a first for everybody. But by the way, I'm so glad to see this because I actually did have a little quiz for you. Can I give you a little, like a little survey, a little quiz about vacationing?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, because I think here's the issue. I want to know how compatible you and I are as vacation buddies.
Okay.
All right. So now, obviously, your wife will be there. Your child will be there. My wife will be there. Franklin's actually already booked. He's doing a week in Des Moines, so we can't. So he wasn't able to make it. But
wow, Franklin, come on, reschedule.
I think this is one of the biggest things because I didn't know necessarily about this, and I'm so glad you're a morning person when it comes to vacation because there are some vacation people. We have some really good friends that we're great friends with. I think they would be so much fun to go on vacation with, but I don't know if we could do it because they're late night people. They're late risers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We'd have half our day done by the time they're getting up. And although maybe that's good because then maybe there's that little Venn diagram of time where it's like we'll spend the afternoon and the evening together, then we're going to go to bed. You can keep partying. But it is nice to have because that is my favorite thing to wake up like crack of dawn. Like,
Yeah.
when we vacation in Maine a lot, and the sun comes up over the bay in Maine, and we are on the bay, so it's like you can't escape it. And sometimes it's like 4:30 in the morning, the sun's coming up, so it's like bright, and I'm up, I'm ready. Like, let's do this. Let's have some coffee. Let's go for a hike, go for a run, whatever it is. Or if I'm at the beach, I'm the first one up. Let's go out, get some donuts. We're going to go to the boardwalk. Kim and I are going to go and be the first people at the breakfast restaurant when it opens at 8 o'clock. You know, like,
dude,
that's the way to do it.
Well, let me just pitch this to you real quick. We'll get to your, and it's from Cosmo, right? It's largely sex on vacation quiz.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. There's a lot of questions about positions. So go ahead.
Good. I like both of them.
Yeah.
I'll save you the time there. I like both the positions.
Yep.
So you're going to Hawaii. It's an interesting phenomenon to me because they are behind us. So
yeah.
Where it's like when you come to Los Angeles, all of a sudden you're waking up even before the sun. Sometimes is that what you're doing?
5 a.m.
It's that on steroids. So you can even sleep in pretty aggressively and hit that sunrise, buddy.
Which is kind of nice.
Oh, dude, it's amazing. And the first thing we do, there's one of two things we do. We either go get a coffee from like a local coffee shop, and I go sugar. I go sugar in the coffee. I do a Hawaiian latte or something similar.
Do you always go sugar in the coffee or just on vacation?
Just on vacation.
Okay, good to
know. It's either that or you start off with a soak in the ocean, buddy. The water is so warm that you can get in there with no problem. 7, 8 in the morning. I forget what the water temperature is, but it's like in the mid 70s or something like that.
Are there some Hawaii buddies out there with you, or are you just on the beach by yourself?
Oh, usually it's me and my wife, and there's some other people out there kind of doing, but we just do a float in the morning, man, and it's kind of unbelievable. And like the sun's up, but you see the stronger rays kind of peek over the hotels and stuff, hit Diamond Head. It's just a really surreal, unbelievable way to like start kind of your first morning.
And now again, not to take sides on this issue, but would you say that the ocean is nature's bounce house?
I mean, with the exception that it's accepted by my wife, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Very good. See, okay, I'm just so glad to hear this, and that is so cool too because it is so much easier to get up early in Hawaii, and that's just, and then have a couple drinks in the afternoon, do whatever, and then by the evening, one evening you're going to be going to Chip Chantry show at the Blue Note, but there is an early show, which is kind of nice. I kind of like that because I'm also, as a comedian, like there was a thing during the pandemic that's really stuck, which I've been really happy about.
Yeah.
A lot of comedy clubs, they'll have like an 8 o'clock and a 10 o'clock show, right? Or maybe a 7 and a 9. And then what they'll do if they add a show, they'll do like a midnight show.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that. I don't want that.
Lunatics want that. Like who's at that midnight show?
Nobody that would relate to anything I have to talk about will be at that show. And so now what they did, they started to bump it up. So instead of a midnight show, now they're doing a 6 p.m. show or maybe a matinee, maybe a 4 p.m. show or even a 3 p.m. show. That's my spot. When we recorded the album, Move Closer, now available on YouTube, it was a 4 o'clock show. And it was great. And and then I had the rest of my evening to just enjoy myself. I'm an early guy. I'm so glad to hear that you are too.
Yeah. I mean, you know this though.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Now, by the way, there's obviously exceptions. Your day-to-day can be different. But when you're on vacation, are you an adventurer or a sit-by-the-pool guy?
Both.
Okay.
Both. So, like, I keep it pretty regimented, though. Like, you can't try and do too much. So, like, my main goal when I travel is one meal I'm excited about, one activity, and then the rest of the time leaving it up to just follow my bliss. Okay.
I love it. And I was actually going to ask about diet. So that's another thing too, because like sometimes I used to be that guy that's like, hey, it's vacation. I'm just going to eat whatever I want. But luckily, again, my wife always nagging me, with trying to keep me alive. It's like, just let me go already. But she has the sense to be like, hey, maybe you shouldn't shove that entire bag of M&Ms in your face right now.
Yeah. Also, like, I think that's a natural defense against like away game diarrhea. Like, how much is she trying to watch you deal with that?
Exactly. Yes. And I don't need a tummy ache on vacation. She doesn't need to hear about that. And so, thankfully, thank God, she has gotten me a little bit more like, hey, let's have one healthy meal right now. It was actually this is actually funny. She has made me such a better eater, and I'm so much healthier because of her. I still remember, this is horrible, but she laughs at this now. We went on our honeymoon down south. We took a road trip down south and hit Asheville and Athens, Georgia, and Savannah. And we were about a week into our road trip, and we were in Savannah, and it was our second or third night in Savannah. And it was a Sunday night, so there was some things that weren't open, some restaurants, and all she wanted was some green vegetables. She's like, I haven't had green vegetables in almost a week because just everything down there is just deep fried dough. I mean, that's just all we were eating. And that's, to a certain extent, a lot of what we could eat is just fried fish and fried dough and hush puppies and whatever. And she is such a calm and sensible person. She was almost in tears, basically. She broke down. She's like, I just need a salad. And like we were searching the streets of Savannah, Georgia for a salad or some greens that we could have.
Just a junkie looking for a broccoli hit.
I mean, that's all it was. Yeah. Can I please get some sprouts on it?
Do you know a farmer, man? Do you know a farmer?
Oh, my God. All right. Another question for you.
Perfect.
A light packer, or are you packing to the nines to go on vacay?
Ooh,
baggage. Do you have a lot of baggage or no?
That's evolved. Always a light packer. I had never checked a bag unless I was like going to make a TV show, unless it was for travel for work. I'd never checked a bag once in my life. But with the baby, like, there's no way. So I bring everything now, but I bring even less personal items than I ever have. But I've always been a one carry-on guy. And that's the other thing. Like, when you're going to a tropical location, like, I know that bringing anything more than one pair of jeans, I'm not going to wear those long pants.
Nope.
So it's bathing suits, it's tank tops, it's my flip-flops, and like that's kind of all I need clothes-wise, and a light waterproof jacket. You want a light waterproof jacket because it will sprinkle from time to time, but it will never get cold.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a light to the tropics. I'm gonna have a bunch of baby though.
Hawaii sweatshirt. Is it sweatshirt weather at night?
No.
Okay.
I mean, you can, but you don't need to at all. Like you can look at it. Like the climate is so well regulated that like not really.
Okay. All right. That's great. I by the way, I took a little trip this week. I just got back yesterday. I was gone for literally 48 hours. I was talking about the tropics, baby. I was in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Woo! That's hot.
The hot spot of Indianapolis. I was at Helium Comedy Club there. Helium's my home club in Philly, and I was asked to do a corporate gig. There was this gathering. It was sort of like an awards banquet for
Juggalos.
The Juggalos. They gather once a year
of them. Yep.
And so we come together. It was the good people at Buick and GMC. This is not a plug.
Oh.
But the good people of General Motors.
That's American made, my man.
Yeah, I guess it's sort of part of General Motors. I think some of it is. But Buick and GMC, American made.
It's more specific motors, it's sounding like.
It is very specific. It's specific motors. These Buicks and trucks. And they had this award ceremony. And then I performed for them to some great people from all over Indiana, some people from Detroit, some people from Chicago, a lot of Midwest. They were great. So that was a lot of fun. But I was there for literally 48 hours.
Yeah. Whirlwind.
It's something that I learned because here's what I do. When I'm driving somewhere, like if I go on a road trip somewhere, I'm packing a decent amount because I can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're bringing your home pillow. You're bringing snacks. You're bringing 3 different jackets, like everything you might need.
Exactly. When I fly, I want as little baggage as possible, literally.
Yep.
And what I've learned is when I go out just for a weekend, 2 to 3 days, it's just a backpack. There's not even a carry-on. And because it's the most liberating thing I've learned over the past year or so, because you know how airlines are anymore. Like the overhead are getting smaller and smaller, and then you get pushed to the back. So then you have to worry. You really have to like vie for like, am I group 2? Am I group 7? And are they going to check my luggage? Chip. It's right. So now I don't care. I want to be a later group now because I don't have to worry about it. I have my assigned seat. All I have is a backpack, so I'm not even putting anything upstairs. Mm-hmm. I don't have to worry about them gate checking it. I walk on, I walk off, and the stress level for me, I'm not afraid of flying at all, but that anxiety of like, okay, now I have to check a bag. They're going to lose my luggage. This is actually going to happen. If you can fly, and you can do it. If it's 72 hours or less, you can do it in a backpack. I'm sure there's people, obviously, that can do it for weeks in a backpack. We've seen it. But that is my new trick that I love.
But it's very, very smart. If you think about it, the only like first class, they get to board early. Like why would you want to be on a plane longer?
With all those diseases just sitting there, you know us with it's gross.
Yeah, no, it's disgusting. It's filthy. Mm-hmm. You're breathing the same air as a bunch of other people. It's like, I want to minimize that amount of time. And I think you're totally right. If you take away the crippling anxiety caused by needing overhead bin space and just cruise in there, you're scooting by a lot of issues. And you're not going to the remote portions of Haiti.
No.
Like, if you have something that you need, you can go to a store.
Yes. Yeah. And you can pick up some essentials if you need it.
I'm sorry, like, Is this a new shirt, Chip? I've never seen you wear this before, I don't think.
Actually, it is. Okay, yes and no. It's not exactly new to me, and it's not a new shirt at all. If the viewers at home want to look at this, if you're watching this on YouTube, this is Thomas. This is my summertime shirt. By the way, it cracked 70 degrees in Philadelphia today, maybe for the first time this year. It's been a cold, harsh winter. So I decided to celebrate. You're wearing your Hawaiian shirt. I was like, I have a Hawaiian shirt, but this is the next best thing that I have. This is my summertime shirt. I bought this shirt off of Dead Man, Thomas.
Probate sale?
Yes. We went when I was living in the Italian market in South Philly, another neighborhood in South Philly where I live, my wife and I. There was this very nice older gentleman who would always sit on his stoop and smoke his cigarettes. And one day he wasn't there. And I think the cigarettes might have had something to do with it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say definitively in case we get a lucrative cigarette ad deal.
Yes.
But he was unfortunately no longer there, and then they had an estate sale, and we got to walk through his South Philly house that you always want to go in, this row house, where everything was just pink and plastic. His wife, back in the day, had her own beauty salon in the basement. So they had a couple of those like sinks with where you put your head in and all. It was so great. And so what we got, my wife got a couple of old bottles of homemade wine. Like literally like moonshine wine, basically, that he made himself.
That is wild.
And then for about $3, I bought this shirt from the old man that I used to see him wearing on his stoop. And now every summer, especially with like right at the beginning of the summer, I whip this baby out. Nice collar, and it's a little big on me, but it's what I like to call flowing. It's breathable. Yeah.
No, I mean it looks great. It looks comfortable.
I'm ready to party in this thing. So I'm pretty sure this will be coming to Hawaii with me.
I mean that drink or that shirt looks like it comes with a lemonade, my man.
I mean that is the feel. Yes. Just or if in my neighborhood it comes with some red wine on the rocks.
Okay,
well, because that's how the old men drink their wine in my neighborhood.
Oh my gosh, that's actually how that's how I drink my wine.
Yeah, I mean,
I put a little rocks in there, and then I put a little Diet Coke because I'm classy, Chip.
Yeah,
I do Diet Coke, red on ice. It is wildly embarrassing for my wife. But speaking of wine, we need to go back. Like, tell me about this homemade old bottle of wine. What happened? Did you guys imbibe?
I think there were 2 bottles. I think we had, and if I remember correctly, the one I think we tried it and was like, this is no longer good. We need to put this away. This is basically vinegar. But then the other one we drank, and it was, it was a lot of fun. It was
if you had to put a style on it, what would you guess? Was it a Merlot? Was it a Pinot Grigio? A Pinot Noir?
I'm gonna say it was a Chianti mixed with a Rocky Balboa. Like that's what we're dealing with there. Just like it would be the type of Chianti that Rocky Balboa would have in his first apartment when he first met Adrian. Like that's just like sitting on top of the refrigerator. Yeah, that's what we're dealing with right there. So not the fanciest thing, but hey, packs a little punch. No pun intended. Yeah.
And Hannibal Lecter's coming nowhere near that one. It's a little lowbrow.
Not at all.
And you didn't inquire, so homemade. You think they made it themselves and bottled it themselves? What entrepreneurial people? They've got a beauty salon in the bottom. They've got a winery in the backyard, I assume, or on the stoop. Really industrious. And then you have no issue. You have no phobias. You don't think it's weird wearing a dead man's clothes. There's no superstitions you're worried about. Nothing. Or are you welcoming those vibes into your home?
100% welcoming. 100% welcoming. Okay, here's something I don't understand. And again, say what you will. Speaking of elderly South Philly Italian men.
Yep.
In the house, the home, I'm in his basement right now. Not this man with a shirt, but in our new house, a gentleman in the 1960s built this basement. You've been to the basement.
Been to the basement.
It's a full-on speakeasy from the 1960s.
It's unbelievable.
This is not like a set. I'm not at a studio. This is not like some virtual background. This is my basement that was a speakeasy in the 60s and 70s. And the old man, the old man, he passed away. He died in our bathroom. The bathroom that you used, that you took a shower in when you visited Thomas.
Okay, perfect.
He died in that bathroom about 10, 12 years ago that we learned. The man was 93 years old. I mean, he lived a nice full life. But people were like, isn't that weird for you? No. And here's a crazy part. Yeah. I'm not a non-believer in ghosts, but I haven't seen the evidence.
Right.
But I will say this. On certain days, when we open up the closet in our bathroom, not every day by any stretch, but certain days when we open up the closet in our bathroom closet, it smells like cigarette smoke. Cigarette smoke just wafts out of it.
Just
when we are not smokers. No, it's just every once in a while we open it up, boom. It's like a carton of marbles hits you in the face.
That is interesting because cigarette smells are either there or they're not.
Right, and they're just not there. And then every once in a while, boom, open it up, and there he is smoking a little cig. Yeah. Okay. And here's the thing. There are certain circumstances I'm sure that would be touchy or inappropriate or whatever. But whenever you hear about like how like somebody selling a house, they have to disclose that somebody was murdered in the house. Like it's one thing for an elderly man to pass away, right?
Yeah.
But it's another one for like a murder to happen. That wouldn't bother me at all. That does not. I'm a true crime fan. That doesn't, and I'm not trying to say like I'm tough. I'm like nothing scares me or anything. That doesn't. It just doesn't affect me. How does it? Let's say you and your wife, you see this new house. It's for sale. It's down the street from you. It's a great neighborhood. It's a beautiful house. It's well within your price range. And they're like, oh, by the way, triple homicide 3 years ago in the living room.
I mean, there's not enough money in the world. I guess it would depend on the circumstances, like how badly I wanted it, if there was like money constraints, if there was like, you've seen horror movies. There's always a reason they have to stay in the place after the thing happens. I think there's similar situations that can get you into the place before, before you live with it. But I actually lived in an apartment in Hollywood when I first moved to town.
Okay, go ahead.
And there was I'm having trouble remembering the exact details, but there was like a Swedish man, a Nordic man, went insane in the apartment below mine, climbed up the balcony to my apartment and tried to murder the woman who lived there with a knife.
Oh my God.
He got kicked out. So like they didn't mention any of that stuff to me.
I like how he got kicked out. Like the HOA wasn't having it. Yeah.
Oh, it was a quick 30-day notice for that guy.
Yeah.
He had to hit the bricks after a reasonable amount of time.
He was delivered a warning letter. Yeah, go ahead.
No, it was literally like and the person that lived underneath me got his mail still and he did not get evicted. He was in jail, bro.
Yeah, of course.
But like it's one of those things, and it wasn't supernatural. It wasn't anything like that. What terrified me is an insane person thinks evil lives in the apartment I live in, and if they get out of jail and they want to go take care of that evil once and for all, I'm there. So like it's more just like an
that is a logistical
an unhealthy person having a fascination with a place that I happen to be at. That's no bueno.
Yeah.
But you know what, Chip? I've loved talking about this. We're in the middle of a quiz. We just got going.
I only have a couple more questions, but by the way, you and I are pretty compatible so far.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy to hear this. Okay. Okay. Here's I'm framing this. Yeah, this is an either or.
Okay.
5-star, beautiful resort, packed with people, bumping, just great, right?
Yep.
You have that choice. Or 3-star resort that's pretty empty and off the beaten path. Which one are you taking?
I mean, this is a case by case, but
yes,
more often than not, I'm going 5-star.
Okay, all right,
yeah.
That's where here's my issue with that, and I get the 5-star thing. I'm more of an off the beaten path guy, not because of necessarily the money, but like I like a little elbow room. And like I picture like people, everybody's at the beach, and like some people like that. I think we were talking about that last time with cruises, where like everybody's there all the time. Yeah. It's like something tells me it's like, oh, let me go someplace that's a little weird, like a restaurant. Do you know what I mean? Okay.
Yeah.
My favorite, one of my favorite restaurants in the city of Philadelphia is the one of the ones that you went to when you were with me, where we were literally
the only people there.
We were the only people in the tiny dining room the entire time, and I love that feel. Like we could have gone. No offense, Thomas. I could have taken you to a fancier place, but it would have been packed with people. We'd have reservations or whatever, and it's like, that's my vibe. Is just that let's just see what the locals are doing, or just hey, let's have this weird little situation where that's like a little off the beaten path. Like I like a off the road, like a Bates Motel, if you will.
Yeah,
but I also, at the same time, going back to our last conversation, I also don't want to be murdered.
Yeah. No, I mean, given the nature of true crime, which we've both consumed plenty of, I think you're equally as likely to be murdered either place.
Okay, good.
That's
true. That is true.
Just in all honesty. But yeah, no, I totally see the merits and the charms, and it really depends. Like, you know, if we're talking about like, I'm thinking specifically tropical, because that's what we've been talking about. But if you're telling me that there is a resort that has less people, but still like, you know, some of the is close to the ocean and beautiful and blah blah blah, that's the opposite direction. That is the more expensive one. That is the one that's going to have, you know, the snootier people. It's like in certain places what you're really paying for is that elbow room, and that's very, very expensive.
That's true.
And can come with a little more strings. But like also like I have dude, do you know how much I would love to like just camp for a couple of days, like close to the ocean or something like that? I would absolutely love to do that under the appropriate conditions where everything was like, you know, legal and you know, approved by the locals and everything was good there. But yeah, no, I just I love a nice hotel. I really do, and I love them on the ocean. I love them on the sand. I love them, Sam. I am.
Sam, I am. All right, here we go. Next one.
All right.
Perfect day. Let's say you have an hour. You have 1 hour window. Let's say you're in Hawaii. It's beautiful Hawaii, but like for whatever reason you're there for a work event, and you have you only have 1 hour of free time on the beach. Are you laying on the beach or are you walking on the beach?
Definitely not a laying.
Okay.
It's not that I don't enjoy it. Like if I have an hour, I'm in the water.
Yep.
I am just floating in the water. But yeah, like me and my wife have this issue in real life. It's like she loves to park it. She can make a day of sitting on a towel, and I'm just like, let's play a game. Let's go for a walk. Let's move up and down. I'm pretty active.
Kim and I, when we go to the Jersey Shore to Ocean City, I almost miss sitting on the beach because we almost never do. And I love it. We're always like, we're going down, we're going for a walk. We're going to walk a mile this way and a mile back, on the beach or where, probably actually longer. And that's our idea of a good time. Like rather, it's like sometimes when I'm sitting there, it's like, hey, if I had a nice book and like an umbrella, I could sit over there and or a drink, whatever. I guess it would be, but after a while, I'm like, I need to move these. Get these wheels moving, I gotta.
No, I love it. We're very much the same way.
All right, good. Last question, Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
All right, if you could go on vacation, let's call it to Hawaii on vacation with one character from The Office.
Oh,
who would it be, and why?
I mean, it's Michael Scott.
Yeah.
It's Michael Scott, and it's because I think I'm going to get into the most interesting situations. Like, I love watching people who are being very honest and being very earnest do weird, bizarre things and have strange expectations and see that bounce off of stuff. And I kind of love being mixed in that fray given the right situation. Like, it is, I think, people who make interesting choices and do interesting things, not to be like jerks, but just because they're a unique character, that kills me. And I also think that like an abundance of unearned confidence is very fun.
Yes.
Very funny and fun to be around under the right circumstances.
Mm-hmm. I like it. I love it. Great answer. Thomas, you and I, pretty compatible. I think this vacation is going to go very well between the two of us.
I can't wait for it, man. It's going to be unbelievable. And it's only, what is it, like 8 months away?
I know. It's crazy. It's coming up. I'm starting now that the weather's breaking. I'm finally like working out a little bit. I want to have that Waikiki bod. I'm ready to get out there and just get the gun show going. And that's what I need to be doing.
No, it's an unbelievable opportunity. That's half of the fun of doing something like this. Is you can use it as motivation to do other things you're excited about. Like, are you going to work a little harder? Are you going to be pushing for a promotion or pushing for a new job or working to something and using this as a reward? It's like, set up the reward and then earn it, baby. It does work as a motivator.
I remember you were doing that with the one show we were working on. You had that vacation looming up ahead, and
I always do it.
And you were staying on program. You had program. You had your little meals every day, and you were just dropping the lbs. You were getting in shape, and it was just like, oh man, I wish I had that thing to look forward to.
It wasn't by accident. It's something I like started doing on purpose when I started traveling with my wife. I was just like, holy cow. And also, it's so easy to not do it. So like, I would find out my rap date when I would contractually not be obligated to the show. Mm-hmm. And before I'd start, I would book that following week. And my wife has always had like more traditional jobs with more traditional vacation structures. So like, she would just book that week too. We'd make it work. And from day one, I would know that like, we're going to have the most fun making the show. We're going to do great work. We're going to work insane hours, unfortunately, most of the time. But I'm going to be a good little boy. I'm going to keep my little piggy hands out of craft services.
Yep.
And I am going to be working towards this little treat I have for myself at the end of the thing. And that's what we're doing with this year. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I can't I think about it all the time. It's like it's really great. It's like I'm currently, kind of a 5 a.m. guy. You know this.
Right.
I wake up at 5 a.m. and either do work or work out. And it's just so much easier to be consistent with that when like I wake up with a little pep in my step because I know we're doing this cool thing that I'm, super excited about. It's awesome.
Yeah. I can't wait. I'm getting on that train, and I love it. Oh, by the way, I have to. So it wasn't tropical, but I was in Indianapolis this weekend.
Yeah,
or on Sunday and Monday, and it was great. Two quick highlights, if I
hit me with them.
Okay,
hit
so
me
first
with
of all,
them, buddy.
here is something that I love, and again, it's about travel. It's not necessarily tropical or vacations, but just you travel for work sometimes. I travel a lot for doing comedy, and one of my favorite things is just that ride to and from the airport, that Uber ride or that and it's you, especially when you go back to a town that you know a little bit.
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to be, but there's just that vibe of like when you see palm trees for the first time. Like when I'm in LA and I'm coming up from LAX and I just see those palm trees and it's like, oh, this is just a vibe. And even just like Indianapolis, like coming into town was just like I got to see some of the people. Like I go to the comedy club, and it's like I know these people. It's like summer camp every year. It's just like so much fun to have those people that also love comedy. That it's just like, oh, Chip's back, and it's just such a nice thing. But besides that's like one of my favorite things to do is like when you just first get into town or as you're heading back, just to kind of let it all sink in. But two quick things. I go every time I go. I went to the Kurt Vonnegut Museum. Huge Kurt Vonnegut fan, favorite author, and there's a museum there. And I met Chris, the curator, great guy. He showed me around a little bit more. We were talking Vonnegut, so it's just like a cool place. So it's like it's always nice to have that. And I know you have some of those hangs in Hawaii that like you're like, here's the place I go each time, and it's like nice to have that little like corner of vacation on there. And then. All right, I got to brag about this, that this might mean nothing to you or many of the listeners. It's either going to mean nothing to you or it's going to mean everything to you, and that's why it's so funny. Okay.
All or nothing.
I get into Indianapolis on Sunday afternoon. I'm kind of tired, but I need to eat something, so it's just about 5 o'clock. It's early, but I need dinner, and I went down to the bar restaurant in the hotel. Yeah. And nobody's really there. It's pretty empty. It's just me. I think there's like one other table. And then there's a guy who sits down. He's probably early 60s, sits down at the bar, and he's sort of holding court with the staff there. Because the staff, they don't have anything else to do. It's empty. And they're talking to him. And I hear him say something about, when I was like training for a role, whatever, like, like he's like an actor. And I was like, okay. And what I didn't realize was, or I didn't put two and two together, right across the street at the convention center, a Comic-Con was going on, or like some version of a Comic-Con.
Yeah,
one of these signing things, right?
So this could be a legit...
Could be, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of like out of the corner of my eye, like I don't recognize the guy, but he's pretty far away. And then
Chris Hemsworth.
It is Christopher Hemsworth, yes, of Stage and Screen.
Yeah, that's a big get.
So this guy must have been at the bar the night before because you could definitely tell he was talking to the staff like they knew him.
Yeah.
And the bartender was this young kid, and he goes, "What movie did you say you starred in?"
And
I was like, "All right, let's hit me with it. Like, what is this movie?" He goes, "Oh, it was a BMX movie back in the 80s called RAD."
RAD? Wow. RAD.
It was Crew Jones himself, Bill Allen, the lead character in the movie RAD, which 1986, I think, 85, 86, Canadian-American film that maybe if you didn't grow up in that era, you wouldn't know. To me and my brother and the kids in our neighborhood, it was the biggest movie in the world. Such a low-budget movie, but just the biggest movie in the world to us. And I was like, I was starstruck. Like if you said Chris Hemsworth was there or some huge A-list celebrity right now, I would have been like,
so much less.
Whatever. I was so starstruck and giddy. I gobbled down my meal.
Oh, you got to get over there.
And I got to get over there. And I just went up to him, and Okay, I'm going to let you guess. Was the guy a jerk or was he not a jerk?
He was not a jerk.
I go up there and I say, "Hey, I'm sorry. I don't mean to bother you." And he goes, "What?" So, "Hey, I'm Bill. Sit down. What's your name?" And just was the sweetest guy.
Yeah.
And so I sat down and he's like, "What do you?" And like knows how to do this. Like deflected to me. What are you doing here? What do you do? And I was like, "Oh, well, I'm a comedian." No way, you're a comedian. Blah blah. And then, but then I got to say my piece. I was like, I was like, just so you know, I have a bone to pick with you. I heard you're an actor. And like to kind of throw him off a little bit, I overheard that you're an actor. He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "I think you're to blame for a number of scars and scrapes I have on my body from when I was a child. And I would watch your movie over and over again. And then me and my brother and our friends would go out on our BMX bikes and try to recreate it and just fail miserably." And we had a little laugh. And then me and Crew Jones sat there for about a half hour. We talked about the band that he was in. We were talking guitars a little bit.
Wow.
We were talking about some of his movies, some of the stuff that I was doing, some of the stuff that he was doing. And it was, Thomas, one of the highlights of my career. I literally got to sit. I was so starstruck. And he was the best dude. Yeah.
But this is not exaggerated at all. Like, the reason I knew RAD was coming when you were talking is because you've talked about RAD before in your real life. You've brought it up multiple times. I've never seen the movie. Like, maybe you had some mild awareness that it existed. Like, there was a bike movie.
Sure.
But you, as a child, were a huge and
obsessed.
It just is so much cooler. Like, if somebody was famous to you and you knew them before, like, you started interacting with and like kind of knowing famous people, it's still like you're a little kid.
It like, really is, yeah.
Like, most people today, I'm sure, like, we run into people, like, a lot of people go to comedy shows, a lot of people are around, a lot of comedians are huge celebrities. It really doesn't feel that way. But when you see somebody from when you were a kid, before, like, you got into that lifestyle or had those interactions, that's unbelievable, man.
It's wild because And again, there's been two people I think that I've been starstruck with. And again, like I've met a lot of people. You've met a lot of people, and I'm usually pretty cool. I'm pretty like, okay, there's that guy, and it was Bill Allen from the movie, the 1980, I want to say 6 movie RAD, and Jim Gardner, the anchor from Action News in Philadelphia from when I grew up. When I met him for the first time, I could not speak. I couldn't talk. So yeah, and again, it just goes back to your childhood. Yeah. Now, have you had that experience? You've worked with a lot of famous people. You've rubbed elbows with a lot of people. Have you had that experience of like, oh, this is the person?
Honestly, Tom Green, dude. Like, is much as that, like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people just feel like he's just part of their lives, because he did, so much intimate stuff, like, later on with the talk show from his living room and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But dude, for like an awkward kid growing up, when he like popped on MTV and was just kind of, instead of like trying to hide everything that was strange about him, like embracing it and making other people deal with it, like, I was just like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I bothered so many people on his behalf, in my mind, growing up, and then when we got to work together a little bit, it was like really I don't know, it was cool because there's lots of movie stars around and all that kind of stuff, but like, it was that like formative thing, like, this person actually did something that kind of like probably changed the trajectory of my life a little bit.
Yeah,
and popped in during like a very formative part of my life on the old television, and like, just informed a vocabulary, a shorthand I had with some of my friends and stuff. So that was it. And he was also awesome, very cool. Did not have like any like airs about him, really. He was just a very nice Canadian gentleman.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
And when he wanted to turn it on and be funny, he could really turn it on and be funny. And then he was everything you'd want when he wasn't trying to be funny. Was just like, it's just like, he knows who he is. He's had all kinds of success, and like, he doesn't have to be on at all.
Mm-hmm.
That is my favorite kind of comedy person.
Last question.
Yep.
Did he get handsy with you?
No. I think
Okay,
I
good.
think it might
It's
be
good to
like
know.
I think
Good
he
to
did
know.
have like he removed a testicle. I think
Sure.
it might have been like a low T situation that kept that from happening.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it didn't get physical, but it was super fun.
That's
super
awesome.
fun.
That is great to hear. And again, that's also that intimacy thing too about like seeing somebody like from a big show, like from a like Friends or like whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that's one thing, but then to have that show that looks like it's shot in a basement
Oh, dude,
is just
it
like
was so
such a The Kids in the Hall, like very similar.
Yeah.
Like when I met Kevin McDonald from The Kids in the Hall, same thing because it's just
yeah.
that's that weird guy from when I was 14 that I loved, and that I feel like even though he is famous, it's like only I know him, but it's so special. You know, it's like that thing. You know, yeah.
No,
beautiful thing, Thomas.
it's amazing, and I never worked with him, but like Will Ferrell was the same way. Like I did, kind of run into him at a thing, and it was just one of those things. It was just like he was my cast at SNL. Those types of guys, like
Yeah.
It's just like it really blows your hair back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is funny.
Man.
That's like very few differences I think between you and I as far as like I have a handful of years on you, but it's like I just knew him as the new guy for decades.
Yeah.
I thought of him as the new guy on SNL because that was like my guys were like like the
Right.
Sandler,
Yeah.
Sandman, Spade, Farley, like all of that,
Yeah.
and then he came in and of course like blew the doors off the place and I love him, but
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that was a big one, and I feel the same way. It's like everybody has their cast. That's pretty well documented phenomenon.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's my. I also have a similar cast with MASH, the TV show. I have my favorite group.
The Hot Lips.
Yeah, is it hot lips or clinger? That's what. That's the big question that everybody's asking on podcasts nowadays.
Yeah, that is fresh talking point.
Fresh material.
All right, man. Well, I think it's about time to wrap it up. Is there anything you wanna put out there? Want to pump up?
I'm going to be at the Pyramid Club on April 11th. For those people who are listening before that, on top of a skyscraper in Philadelphia. I'm so excited about it. April 11th. March 29th, Saturday, that it's a matinee show, 4 o'clock. We just did our tech rehearsal for Rock Bottom, the musical / sing-along / cover band show that I co-created with the owner of Helium, and I'm really excited about it. So those are my two biggies, and just at Chip Chantry on anything. How about you, Tommy? Besides the big first birthday party this weekend.
The big first birthday party already sold out, so don't need to promote that.
Nope.
Really, I just
are they going to add a second part? Are they adding a second party?
If there's too much demand,
Okay.
Unfortunately, contractually, I have to do a second party.
Yeah.
The thing I want to put out there right now is actually November 26th. Gonna be producing a show in Waikiki Beach, Honolulu, Oahu, Hawaii. Chip Chantry's Thanksgiving in Paradise. The ticket links in the bio of the YouTube page.
Yep.
Or you can find it on BlueNoteHawaii.com, I believe.
And again, you might be thinking, this is ridiculous. I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm in New Jersey. I'm in Nebraska or whatever. And you're like, why would I go to Hawaii to see a comedy show? It's, first of all, why not? And that's the thing. And it's not just to see a comedy show. It's not just, I'm not expecting anybody to fly across an ocean to see me perform. But that's one little part of an experience that we all want to have together this November.
Yeah, and like to your point, it's you can go, and it's realizing that you have the option can be a very powerful thing. So if you're so inclined, come join us. And until next time, stay burnt, y'all.
Keep burning, baby. Front desk.
Hey, this is Thomas O'Brien in room 316, and I would like to request a couple more towels, please.
Not again.